Tonight.
They extend that.
Put that in your pipe and smoke at road department.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's Mary? She called me. John, do they know that I need Tony's license, or do I need to send them over? Do they know I need Tony's? Okay.
So Tony will bring it up to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Newspaper show.
Well, we don't have anybody here.
WRN, Sheriff.
Well, yeah, WRN. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We recognize everybody. WRN.
Bruce, what can we do for you?
Well, I don't know. I was just curious, did you have a chance to look over, did you guys look over those 911 protocols?
I have them right here.
Okay.
I have a copy of the statement from that wreck on 344 in Cunningham, of how the call was handled, and all the particulars on it, and it's signed by the person who took the call, 11/5/12. And here's a copy of what we're supposed to follow as the Columbiana County Enhanced 911 system. The other person that was here last week, or 2 weeks ago, with the complaint that we didn't get to the fire, the first call that she supposedly made was never received at 911. The second call evidently was received, and I have that paper. I don't have it with me. It has the times and the dates and everything on it. First, she said she called once, and she called the second time. First call, if she called, did not go through to county.
She called, didn't she say she called the
3,000 number, but that goes...
3,000?
That goes to county?
Yeah, then
Yeah, it goes to the
it goes to
Goes to the same
911.
spot
It goes to the
911
same
goes
spot.
Same spot.
Our
I don't know if you guys
911
have
is our
ever had
county,
the
everything
opportunity
goes
to
to the
go
same
down here and I'll show you,
Direct it right to
see how that whole system works. It's really impressive how it works.
So there's the operating standards. There's a statement from that lady that was on duty at the time, and I got those for you.
Okay. So then we just kind of sit back and wait for them to call us, or?
What do you mean?
Well, I guess they threw our protocols out down there, down at I just want to know, so, I mean, we're doing the best we can do to protect the citizens, that's all. That's my only concern. I mean, I'm not in this for profit or nothing. It's just, you know, to protect the citizens, so I want to make sure they're being protected. So how do they do that? Do they call the PD first? And then they inspect it?
Fire? No, they call directly to you. The 911 person answers the phone, and if it's a wreck or a fire, then they take it from there, and whichever one it is, if it's a wreck, it's the police, if it's a fire, it's you.
All right. Because they had another wreck out on the bypass last week. One person was life-flighted in serious condition.
Okay.
I'm just concerned about, you know, something happened to one of those cars. I mean, if they catch fire with all those people on the scene and then we finally show up,
Did you get the call?
no.
Well, how should that work? When the police or someone gets there, should they see something that gas is around and call the fire department, or is that normally the way it works, or?
Normally, they would call the fire department at the same time they call the police and the ambulance. When the call comes in, the way it's supposed to work when it comes into 911 is, you know, I were calling and say, hey, there's been a bad wreck on the bypass or a car wreck on the bypass. She'll pull up on her screen and she'll hit the 3 buttons. There's one for police, fire, and EMS. And all 3 will be dispatched out to the scene. I mean, obviously, the police are already in their cruisers and the ambulance is already in their cars, so they're already manned and on their way. But it takes us a little bit longer coming from home to get to the station and get the trucks. And I just...
You didn't get any call?
My only fear is, you know, is if they wait and something would happen to where, you know, if they would get on scene and say, hey, this is just a minor fender bender, you know, tell FD, you know, they can clear. Usually, you know, like myself or one of my officers will drive by and stop and just, you know, take a quick look before we leave, you know. But I think what started this was a year ago or so. We had a wreck on the bypass at Georgetown Road. One of my officers from the fire department shut the road down, and it really started a lot of static between the police department and the sheriff. We're out there trying to cut some guy out of a car, and we got people that's in a hurry, that's passing, that's going out around us, you know, and we got lines stretched out across the road. So we're trying to protect, you know, ourselves, the EMS workers, you know, stop traffic for, you know, so none of the other vehicles get hit. And I think that's where...
Was our department there?
Yes. And I believe that's where this is, because ever since that wreck when we stopped traffic, you know, because my officer, I guess, was told that we weren't allowed to block traffic, but, I mean, if you're working in the middle of the intersection, we gotta err on the side of safety, you know, we gotta protect the people, and so, but I don't know, you know, I just, ultimately it's your guys' decision, but I just, you know, I hate when we get called, you know, like, time elapses and then it takes us a while to get there and everybody's like, what took you so long? And, you know, I just want to...
Well, the way it was set up originally was that when the police got there, if they saw that it was an emergency type thing that they needed to cut a person out of the car or something, then they called for the fire department. If I'm not mistaken, isn't that the original setup?
Mm-hmm. They went back to dispatch, and dispatch called you guys out.
Okay. That is what I thought was set up originally.
Mm-hmm. Unless the call comes in as a wreck with injuries, and then they're supposed to dispatch you guys immediately if there's known injuries, but probably half the time they don't know that someone's just calling in a wreck.
That's my knowledge of it. That's all I know of it.
I just want to make sure, you know, we're all on the same page with it, you know, and just, you know.
Okay. Any new business we need to discuss?
5 permits in November, 36 total for the year.
No old business to discuss? Approval of minutes and the financial statements from 11/12/12.
So moved.
Second.
Fiscal officers' announcements.
You're signing checks and other payments for $20,228.04, and there are grassroots in your packet. That's it.
Trustee comments, Mr. Kendry.
I have none.
Mr. Rudolph.
I have none.
And I have none. Nothing more to come before this meeting. It's adjourned. Still not a record.
No?
No.
Oh, no.